government having woken up or somebody else having had a light bulb go off. This has been based on struggles, on fights, on long journeys where we fought against the injustices which are embedded, and we come back to what Dave talked about as fix the culture. Sounds easy, it's the toughest thing that anybody can do. It also happened, it was helpful, that my own personal trajectory has tended to bridge two completely different worlds. I've been married to somebody in naval uniform. He's now been out of that uniform for the last 23 years. But it's a journey that we undertook, and we've spent 50 plus years together. Tough, full of fights and arguments and all the rest of it. But it was that structure, in a sense, that also pushed my explorations into a very different world. A world of women's rights, of looking at poverty, of looking at education, of looking at human rights. And you can understand, therefore, why there were so many disagreements. Because in the armed forces, you come from a very different, very tightly structured, formal, disciplined, kind of an institutional culture. And it so happened that while some of us, and I just want to flag right away here, the team that was talking about gender, not just in the context of a module for the Navy, but because the work we were doing showed us that until we actually worked on gender sensitization modules, programs, capsules, from the Basti level to the levels of the institutions with whom we were working in education and so on, we were never really going to be able to get very far with the kind of things we wanted to do. So I want to come back briefly to Martha, because of whom we are all here today. So there was a team of Martha Farrell, Preeti Jain. Preeti, please stand up, let people just say hello to you, and these were the pioneers. Shweta, who I gather now is doing something very different. And our missing member, who is not here, Faisal Al-Qazi. Many of us were together in setting up a group called Ankur, Society for Alternatives in Education. But then when we came up with the need for actually sensitizing a whole service and men in uniform, by that time, 4 of this team were working already on a group called Creative Learning for Change, am I right? So when in 1990, again, as I said, these were all kinds of interesting connections and coincidences in a way. My husband took over as Chief of the Navy. Ankur had already been in existence for nearly 10 years. There was a women's organization which I boarded and pushed within the Navy to say, hey, we need to be looking at gender. The decision of the government to induct women into the armed forces happened in 92. Therefore, I requested Creative Learning for Change, say, well, let's see if we can come up with a module. And clearly you needed to have an openness from the side of the service, who would otherwise not have thought about it. And I want to flag one other very significant event that happened, which I think in some ways, as I said, externalities sometimes play an interesting role. I don't think we could have pushed this kind of a training module had it not been for something that happened in your country, Dave. And you probably have heard about it, I don't know how many else have. It was the infamous tail hook incident that happened in the US Navy in 1991. I would recommend that you go back and take a look through on the internet as to what happened there. But this was with the US Naval Air Arm.